also, Luke Russert is here at this convention, and he got up close and personal with a former president. What did Bill Clinton have to say to them? We'll find out. But first, your local news. And welcome back to Denver and the home of the Democratic National Convention. According to a recent study, 6.5 million people between the ages of 18 and 29 actually participated back in 2000. Following in his father's footsteps, NBC's Luke Russert is covering Decision 2008 with us, and he found out that the Obama campaign has harnessed the power of the internet in ways that could change the face of politics.
On a quiet street in North Seattle, there's an outpost of Barack Obama's online political revolution. 30-year-old kindergarten teacher Jayron Finnan is one of more than 1 million members of my.barackobama.com.
How politically active were you before this campaign?
Oh gosh, it's funny. 4 years ago, I was watching the Democratic Convention. I had no idea who those people were standing by the state signs. I had no idea what a delegate was.
And now she's one of them. Packing her bags with her husband, Danny, who is an Iraq war veteran, and coming to Denver. Inspired by Obama's stand against the war and his less confrontational political style, she visited his website and got involved.
And I saw that you could create a profile, you could find meetings, you could even make phone calls through the website.
Facebook has 70 million members, and Chris Hughes, one of the developers, was hired by the Obama campaign to bring the power of social networking to my.barackobama.com.
So people come online, they can search for an event that's happening near them. You just put in your zip code, you find events with a couple clicks, and then you go out and you show up on Saturday morning to a real-life event.
And that's the key, turning online interest into meetings that created volunteers and precinct captains in those critical early caucuses. It has also raised more than $20 million for the campaign.
The goal was never numbers-driven, and it's still not numbers-driven. It was much more about providing to the excited people out there on the ground the tools to get organized in their own communities.
What's at stake? A recent NBC News poll found that Obama holds a nearly 20-point lead over McCain with voters 18 to 34. But among all voters older than that, McCain has a 1-point lead, and more older voters vote. So every young voter, like Jayron, counts.
Well, this was President Howard Dean's plan, too. You know, the magic of the internet is going to swamp regular politics, and it didn't happen.
As she heads to the convention hall, Jayron believes that bringing new blood to the political process is the best way to bring about change.
If we want to win, if we want to take our country back, it has to be like people like me who have never done anything like this before.
And Luke Russert, good morning. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
It's amazing. Barack Obama really does seem to have embraced technology and the internet. Even when you talk about text messaging, the announcement that Joe Biden would be his running mate. What are you seeing and what are young people seeing from the McCain side of things? Have they embraced it equally?
No, they haven't, and it's something that's really shocked me. John McCain was popular amongst young people, is popular amongst young people. If you look at old articles from the primary season, a lot of kids said, I'll support either Barack Obama or John McCain because they're both authentic. There's a niche for him to tap into. In 2000, he was one of the first candidates to use the internet to fundraise. They have a thing called McCain Space, but it has not nearly the traffic that my.barackobama.com has.
Is it too late in the next couple of months? Can they improve that to the point where at least it does draw some attention?
I think you can always get better.
Let me ask you about your experience here. First time on this side of the camera or in this role. What's it been like for you?
Oh, it's been unbelievable. It's been a lot of hard work. We're putting in 12 to 13-hour days, but it's such a great job because no single day is the same. You're always out in the field covering new, important stories. You always get producers in your ear telling you have to wake up at 3:45 in the morning to be here on the Today Show, and you're happy to do it. Yeah, getting used to it.
And you had one of those moments last night after Senator Clinton addressed the convention. You actually ran into former President Bill Clinton. What was the encounter like? What did he say to you?
I did. I was in the hallway. I managed to avoid the Secret Service. I got underneath the Secret Service hand line there, and I talked to him, and he goes, how did my girl do? How did my girl do? And I said, well, judging from the crowd, pretty damn good. And he says to me, she knocked it out of the park, home run, home run. I'm so proud of her. So you could obviously see a very jubilant ex-president walking the halls here in Denver.
And you'll probably get a lot of attention this morning when you say you got under the Secret Service web. I'm sure they'll be talking to you about that. You know the expression, you got to take the good with the bad? The good for me is that you're here. The bad is it reminds me that your dad's not so. But I'll take the good in this case.
Well, you're very kind. And I just want to say that Jayron, the lovely girl that was on that piece, is expecting. And we're announcing that on the Today Show today to her friends and family. family that she's expecting a child in March. So
breaking news
congratulations
already.
to her, huh?
Luke Russert, good to have you here.
Thanks
Luke.
a lot.
Thanks very much. And you can follow all the events in Denver all day long on MSNBC on cable and online. And tonight, Brian Williams will anchor our special coverage of Joe Biden's vice presidential acceptance speech. That's at 10 Eastern time, right here on NBC. And still ahead, riding the rails with Barack Obama's choice for vice president, Joe Biden. But first, from Denver, these messages.